and welcome to the channel. Now today's video is about getting the LED to light up if it's gone out on your receiver, or maybe just testing to see if it actually works. Just one way I'm going to show you. There's a few different ways of doing that. I'm just going to show you one way, and hopefully you may be able to suss out your one. Now today's video is about these Sansui receivers. It's 441 shown. I'm going to touch on the 551 as well as we go through. I think the 331 is pretty similar, but we're going to alternate between the 441 and 551 here as we go along. I haven't got a 551, I've got a 331, and I could get the bulb to go out because both of these work, but I'm going to show you to do, just in case your one doesn't work. It may be a way of getting it working. The bulb may have actually gone. To be honest with you, the receivers where the bulb's gone, I've had more bulbs gone than I have actually doing this, but you may be lucky. I've had a few where it's just a simple just a little turn of a coil that can get the bulb going. Anyway, we'll talk about it as we go along. Like I say, we're going to do this. I mean, if you're a professional or anything like that, you ain't going to be watching this video. This is for a complete amateur who's going to have a little crack at maybe getting their one going. They're going to have to take the top off, so be very careful, and you're going to have the unit on as well, so be very careful. If you're not comfortable with that at all, then obviously don't do any of this, because there's some live voltages going on inside. You could kill yourself. Don't be too drastic, but you know, that could be worst case scenario, or could cause some damage to the machine, etc. So yeah, you've got to be very, very careful taking these apart. I've had a few electric shocks myself, so it can happen to people that do it regularly, and especially if you ain't done it at all before, you're going to be a bit more nervous and maybe touch the wrong thing. So only do this if you're really, really comfortable in doing it. But anyway, let's talk you through how I would go about doing this 441/551 receiver. So there it is on the bench, and as you can see, this is the bulb here, the FM stereo bulb we want to get lit up. Now on this particular unit it does light up, but what I'm going to do is turn it off and turn it on and show you how to do that, and also how to measure to see if that's actually working. So there it is. So there it is on the front. So we're going to take the lid off. I ain't going to go through that process here. It's fairly straightforward. 4 screws, and find it inside. There's the tuning meter in yellow, and we know the bulb's right next to the tuning meter. So if we just go along just a little bit, the red arrow is pointing to, I say bulb, the LED, it's pointing to the LED. It's on that little circuit board there. And that circuit board's held in by 1 screw. Now you may be lucky, you may be on a little circuit board like this, you may actually be stuck in there in its own little hole, like stuck in there with a bit of glue, so you may have to prise it out and try and find some connections on it to actually measure some voltages if you want to test the voltage, which we're going to do very, very shortly. Or you may just want to follow the 2 wires coming from the bulb going to your main board. If you can see where they're going, get to the board easy enough, you may want to put a meter across them just to test the bulb. But then there's another option. You don't have to test the bulb at all. You could maybe just twiddle the pot that's actually causing the problem in your particular receiver, which I honestly don't know what pot it's going to be. You're going to have to find that out, maybe with some clues with the manual, the service manual, or something like that. Here I do know which coil it is, so I'm pretty lucky. So this is really, like I say, for the 331, 441, 551 in Sansui range, but you may be lucky with your one. If not, maybe if you know, have a look around the internet, you may find some clues somewhere else. Okay, so I've undone that screw, and there is the board out. So we're going to flick it over, and there you can see the LED. Now this LED works perfectly. So anyway, there's the LED. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure the voltage across this LED to see if this LED is actually working. It's kind of two-pronged here to see if the bulb is getting enough voltage to light up. And obviously, if it doesn't light up, then obviously something wrong with the bulb. Well, say bulb, keep saying bulb, the LED, something wrong with the LED if it doesn't light up. But we're going to see as we go along, you'll get the drift of this. But you may have to take it, I mean, like I say, I'm lucky here. I've got 2 big contacts there that I can put crocodile clips on. You could put the meter straight on there, but it's a chance it'll slip and all that within probes. So a couple of crocodile clips is great. And if you couldn't get to them 2 points there down below, you may have just a very, very small board or something like that. You'd have to take it from then red arrows. Now it doesn't matter which way round you put these crocodile clips to your meter, and in fact I've got these the wrong way round. Rather than measuring a positive voltage, it's actually going to measure a negative voltage on this meter, because I've got the crocodile clips the wrong way round. Now I could have turned it round and got it right for the video, but I just wanted to leave it the wrong way round to show you that it doesn't matter which way round you actually measure it. There's my meter. Now I'm not expecting, I don't know offhand, but it could be as much as maybe 4 volts going to the LED, 3.8 volts, something like that. So I put it on the 20 volt range, and I'm expecting the minimum to be about 1.2 1.7, something like that. It's a red LED, so it should come on at 1.7, so it could be anywhere in between that range. So I've stuck it on 20 volts DC just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to get a reading. So now what I've done now, I've turned the unit on and I've tuned it into a stereo station. Now the best way of doing this really is to get a little area obviously in the back, get a strong station where you've got to get a stereo signal. Use a pair of headphones. You could use your speakers, but best to get a pair of headphones here really, because you're going to hear the subtle differences here as we go along. That become more apparent as we go along. But you want to make sure that's in stereo. So you want to have the headphones on. You want to make sure it's a stereo reception, even though your bulb isn't lit up. Your one may not be working. Just make sure you get a different sound out of each ear, so you know it's stereo and the bulb should be coming on. Now if it isn't coming on, there's obviously a reason being that it isn't coming on. One, it's not working, or the correct voltage or the detection isn't working in the circuit. So here we can see we've got 1.64 volts going across it. My LED is actually lit up here. You can't see it, but it's actually lit up. It's a little bit on the low side. I was expecting about 1.7, but it's coming on at 1.64. It did creep up to 1.66, but yeah, 1.64 turns this LED on. So yeah, mine's working fine. So I'm just going to show you the next slide here. This is with it tuned off station, so it's slightly off station, so it's not stereo. The stereo light, it's not in stereo, and the stereo light's not coming on. As you can see, it drops to 1.27 volts, so that's not going to turn the LED on at all. So there you go. Now I've tested mine. I know my bulb works fine, and I'm getting the two different voltages there. So if your one was measuring say 1.65, 1.8, 2 volts, 2.5 volts, 3 volts, something like that in stereo, and the LED wasn't lighting up, then it's a very, very high chance that the LED is not working. So take that out and replace it with another LED. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you now how to adjust it, you know, just in case your LED is working, but you know, the actual voltage is not getting to it to spring it into action, shall we say. So let's have a look at that. Right, so here we go. This is the circuit diagram from the 551. It's similar-ish to the 441 and 331. They're very similar circuits, and the top part of the circuit, the F1506 part of the circuit, that board is the tuner, and we're going to be going over towards the right hand side to an IC there. It's called the HA1120. So if I just show you where that is, there's the IC, and there's the little LED below it in the red box, the F1518. It's on that little board there. That's the LED that should be coming on if yours not coming on. So I'm just going to show you a bit more of a close-up there, and there, if you follow the red arrows, you'll see that's where it links up to that chip on pin 6 of that chip, that LED with the blue arrow links up to. So the part that actually basically turns this, you know, without putting a too fine a point on it, turns this LED on and off, detects the stereo signal, and actually on this particular receiver you can hear the difference when we adjust this coil from it going to stereo to mono as well. But it may be slightly different on different receivers than that, but on this particular one it does do that as well. Yeah, this will detect that stereo signal and turn the LED on. So we're going to have to find out with this coil. It's labelled up here L07, this coil. So if we get our circuit diagram up, circuit diagram, this is a circuit board diagram. This is foil side up, so that means this is the foil side, all the components on the other side of the board. There's L07. So to find out exactly where that is, if we're looking top side up, we're looking from the components view downwards, I'm just going to flip that board round. And as you can see, it's all kind of like mirror image, but that's where it's going to be, because I'm going to look from component side now. So there it is, it's on the left hand side. So now if we get the board up, in fact, just to show you this picture here, there's the board there, that's where it is. So if we just flick back to the previous picture, there it is there, and there it is there. So it's fairly straightforward to follow. Hopefully you can see that. It should be labelled up as well. It's just a picture here, just getting the 07. You can't quite see the L, but the 07's there. So you may be lucky to actually find it. Sometimes other components are in the way and you can't always see it. But you can have a rough idea by looking at the shape of other components on the board, etc. exactly where the coil in your particular receiver is going to control this LED. like I say, doing the 331441551 here, maybe similar-ish to the 661771. I didn't really look it up, and I haven't got them models, but I've only got the 3314441, but I know the 551's similar. So there you go. So that's the coil there. What we're going to do, I'm not too sure what they call these, like little choke kind of things, ferret things. It's actually ferret, and so you've got to be careful here. Putting a screw, we're going to actually turn this. You've got to make a note of exactly what position this is in at the moment. Like I say, got your headphones on, a little aerial in. You've got to be tuning around some stations, get a station where it should be stereo. You should be hearing stereo, but it's not lighting up. You're getting the voltage going to it, but it's not enough. It may be 1.27 or somewhere around there. Yeah, so what we're going to do now, we're going to turn this. So make a note. I usually look at this and think, I know how many turns I'm going to turn it. I usually turn it 1 or 2 turns to the left. If that don't work, then 1 or 2 turns to the right. So this is about 1 o'clock, we're going to say, in that position. So make a note. You may want to make a little mark on the top to see what's top and bottom. Really need a plastic screwdriver, a special screwdriver made out of plastic, so we're not going to damage this too much. But this particular screwdriver I've got here is a metal one, but it fits in there near enough perfectly. And we're going to be pretty gentle. These are easy to turn, just be pretty gentle as we turn it. Obviously the metal kind of interferes as well with that ferrite core, should I say. So it is best to use a plastic one. But what we're going to do anyway, we're going to turn this, say, left or right. It's up to you which way you want to go around first. Remembering it's at 1 o'clock and how many turns you're doing. So just in case this all fails, we can put it back exactly where it was. We're going to turn it and we're going to listen. And we're going to see if that bulb lights up, and if you've got a chance to put the meter on there as well, all well and good, but it doesn't really matter because you'll see the bulb light up if the correct voltage is getting to it. So yeah, so basically we're just going to turn this, and hopefully, depending which way you go, the first way you may go a couple of turns, 1 or 2 turns, and nothing happened one way, so try the other, and hopefully that bulb will light up. And once you've got it lit up, you can kind of get which, how far to go one way for it to go out again, how far to go the other way to go out again. And you're probably going to be in the middle of them 2 ranges kind of thing to get the bulb to be in stereo, to be lit up. Once it's lit up, you will hear the difference as well on this particular receiver. You'll hear it. It will come up stereo, but as you finally tune that little ferrite coil there, you'll hear the stereo just coming out a little bit clearer and a little bit more space around it. All that kind of stuff just sounds a little bit nicer. And you're getting the sweet spot. Like we've got no measurements here at all, really, no scopes or anything like that. So this is just a basic stuff here with no scopes or anything to get this going. Really, I haven't got a scope to do it myself anyway, but this is really for the novice. Like I say, any experts won't be doing it this way. They'll be putting a scope and making sure they've got this dead on. But if it's not lit up, you're probably not getting the correct stereo, so this is going to make an improvement. It's going to improve it. It's better than what it was, and it's also going to get that LED lit up as long as the LED is working. So once you've done that, hopefully you've got it in the right position and it's all working. You can obviously put it all back together, and that's okay. Now, if that did fail, your LED's okay, and that did fail, then it could quite easily be that HA1120 chip, or maybe a few components around it. You may want to just change a couple of the components around that chip. The little capacitors there, the very small picofarad capacitor there running across the coil as well. That is C79 at 6800 picofarad capacitor. You may want to just change that as well, but yeah, or a few caps around there you may want to change, but it could quite easily be that chip as well that's causing the problem. But probably a bit unlikely, I would have said. Like I say, everything that I've had is either the bulb, slightly favouring the bulb actually, or say bulb, it could be the LED, but I've had bulbs as well, obviously normal filament bulbs, but or it's just a matter of just adjoining that little ferrite coil, just adjusting that slightly to get the bulb to light up in stereo. And kind of like I say, once it's lit up, go one way till it goes out again, one way again till it goes out again, and kind of get the middle part. Got a pair of headphones on, you can slightly tune it slightly one way or the other until it sounds really nice. You know what I mean? That stereo just kicks in just a little bit more, just sounds a little bit more space, a little bit more separated. You'll get the drift of it. If you've got it on speakers, it's going to be a little bit harder to hear, much better with the old headphones. So hopefully that may have helped some people that's got the 3314441 or 551, and may have given a few people that hasn't got these receivers, some other receivers, an idea of maybe what to look for in their particular receiver. Go down to maybe Hi-Fi Engine, download your manual, and it may have a description in the manual if your LED, your LED or bulb and the stereo is out, what to look for, and what coil is actually, they usually say the coil may have went open circuit, or look at this coil, maybe that's the one to adjust just slightly either way. But make a note of exactly where it is before you start, so if all fails you're back to square one and nothing's lost. Okay, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.